What is up, Algebra 1 kids? This is Mr. Custodio, and in this video we're going to learn how to graph our quadratics when we are given the quadratic in vertex form. So here we go. So this is going to be part 1 of 3, so the graphing quadratics in vertex form trilogy. And in vertex form, which is y equals a times the quantity x minus h squared plus k, we're going to graph the equation y equals x squared, that's negative, y equals negative x squared, and we're going to compare it with the parent function. So the only thing that's different about the two equations is that the fact that we have a negative x squared. So we don't have an h, it's 0, we don't have a k, all we have is a negative a. So we're going to pick some points for our x's. We're going to use negative 4, negative 2, 0, 2, 4, just because I've been doing that. I mean, again, you can pick any points that you want, but I'm basing it all around the origin as my center point. So then to get my y values, I'm going to substitute in negative 4 into the x for the parent function, and I'm going to get 16, and then 4, 0, 4, and 16. Okay, so I'm going to graph y equals x squared onto the coordinate plane. I can't graph a positive 16, so I'm just going to pretend, and I kind of like in the back of my mind know that negative 4, 16 is way up here, but I can graph negative 2, 4, 0, 0, and then 2, 4, and then 4, 16 I can't put on the graph, but again I'm going to imagine that the shape's going to come around up here. So connecting my points, drawing the arrows, knowing that I'm going to go beyond the 2 points that I graphed. Okay, so that's my parent function. And we're going to see what happens if I have a negative in front of the x squared. Again, I don't have an h, the value of h is 0 and the value of k is 0, but there is a negative in front of the x squared. So using the same points as I did before, negative 4 is going to be substituted in. You're going to get a negative 4 squared 16, but since there's a negative in front, I should have a negative 16. Okay, so negative 2 squared ends up being 4, but then since there's a negative, I'm going to have a positive 4. That is negative. So same thing with 0, so I mean negative 1 times 0 is 0. And then I substitute in a 2 in for x, I'm going to get 4, but since there's a negative, I have a negative 4. And then with the 4 substituted in, I'm going to get a negative 16 as well. So you see the symmetry with my points. I have negative 16, negative 4, 0, negative 4, negative 16. So when I graph it, notice how it's the same exact shape as my parent function, except that the fact that the graph is now reflected. Now, the negative sign in front of that x squared makes our graph reflected about the x-axis. So when we actually write our comparison, we're going to say that the graph is reflected about the x-axis. And that's because we have the negative in front of that x squared. Okay, so that is part 1 of 3 videos for this video series. So again, make sure you're listening, writing notes, any questions on the side of your note packet, and then we can go from there. Alright, thanks guys.